All right, we are here. Welcome everybody to another show, the Crescent Group. This is a weekly show dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. We are here every Sunday afternoon at what time is it? 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. No, 6. Is it 6 p.m. there, Paul? I'm right. 6 p.m. No,
I got 5 o'clock.
Five. I got to get it right. I'm sorry. I just had this this brain freeze. Okay, and then what is it there, Sharon? Sharon, what time is it there?
2 o'clock.
10 o'clock. What do you mean?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Okay, sorry. I just said 10. I'm like, what? I still haven't got my hearing aids back, folks. It's a struggle, and the struggle is real. When you don't have, what time is it there? 10 o'clock in England, in jolly England, and well, Dominic is, and Dominic, dude. Okay, I'm just gonna tell Dominic. Are you guys in that YouTube chat group with Dominic? What is the name of this Hamajama? I'm telling you what, Dominic is blowing up my phone, at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because he's getting up in the morning for his cup of tea or whatever. What is this called? The Sharia? Is this it? Sharia Club? Yeah, it's the Sharia Crushers group. Are you guys in that? I know John.
I am.
Yeah. Okay. And he's all over it. I can't keep up with him. I got these other people trying to get me. It's a long story.
I am too. It's on YouTube, Facebook, right?
Facebook.
Yeah.
It's a Facebook.
Are you in
group,
that? Are you in that one, Sharon?
Yeah.
Or Facebook Messenger group. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Messenger group. There we go. I can't remember the name of all these things. But anyway, Dominic is a beast in there, sending us all kinds of good information. And welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're not going to be going the full 2 hours, and the reason is tonight Vacation Bible School starts at my church, and every year I am voluntold that I will be teaching at. And you got to, and here's I'm telling you what, it is a bearcat doing this thing, because you got to teach 3 to 5 year olds and all these other groups in between, all the way up to middle schoolers. So the lesson has to be relevant to all of those ages in between. And that is the most difficult thing to do. You can prepare a lesson for high schoolers, and a lot of that's just going to be direct instruction. But when you get the little ones, that stuff's got to be hands-on, folks. I mean, you got to get, we call it tactile learning. This is where they're touching things and doing things. So anyway, it's the full armor of God is this week's theme. So this should be a lot of fun, walking around in a suit of armor and swacking people on the head with a sword.
Hey, just a quick announcement. Can you guys hear me? First off,
What do you say?
I know Eric can't. But for the admins that are monitoring the chat, pay attention. We might have a Muslim come in that I've been dealing with on the Twitter's spaces. I invited him to come in to discuss certain topics that he seems to be in error about. So we might be able to get a discussion going with the Muslim on topic is what is the punishment for homosexuals and the punishment for adultery. He seems to think it's not what it is.
Oh, okay. Well,
so keep an eye out for him. I told him to give a shout out if he comes. He said he might. We don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, if I see him, or if you see him, go ahead and just bring him on up. No problemo. Okay. So what was that? Okay, I have, and I'm gonna pull this one to the chat also, and I've already asked the people here. I'm gonna ask everybody here. Okay. So I am kind of leaning towards doing the show on a different day of the week. I absolutely want to continue to do the show. I absolutely want to continue doing it about the same time, more or less. But I want to do it during a weekday. And the reason is that this thing it gobbles up my weekend, every weekend. So I can't go out and do the things like this afternoon. My grandkids have ball games, and I can't go, of course I'm going to go to church on Sunday. You don't skip church. But on the other hand, This I don't want to say it ties me down, because I absolutely love doing the show. So I was asking Paul this question, and Paul and the other one said Monday would be a good day of the week to do it. And I was thinking maybe Wednesday, but Wednesday, Paul and all good Baptists have church on Wednesday evening. I don't know.
I'm not Baptist.
I would say Monday. Monday would be best.
Pentecostal maybe, but not Baptist.
People in the chat, I mean, I'd like to hear your voice in all of this. I mean, do you know of any other YouTuber out there that consistently does shows on Mondays that we would be stepping on them, or they would be stepping on us, or the audience would be taken away? Okay. All right. Well, if you do, just let me know in the chat. I'm still not 100% on it on what we're going to do, but I'm leaning towards getting off the Sunday slot. And I'll tell you, the only reason why I did this on Sundays is because when we first started doing the show, it was on Blog Talk Radio, and that was the only slot available. And then if you all remember, we went from, I wanted to move to Tuesdays, and so I took over the Tuesday slot. And you remember this, Paul? I took over the Tuesday. Was that when Kel died?
Yeah, it was after Kel died. Yeah.
Right. No. Was it? Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah, because she died just before. Yeah.
Okay. And we're talking about our show producer, Kel Fritzy. This woman was a giant when it came to talking about these subjects, and she was on there every day of the week. She was there, and then she ended up passing away, sadly. Just a great godly woman. But anyway, so I was doing it Sundays and Tuesdays, and then of course we had the doxing thing where I just completely pulled back and said, "Hold on a second, let's see what we're looking at." And I didn't go back to doing it 2 days a week. So now I'm thinking weekday, don't have to worry about Blog Talk Radio. And in Blog Talk Radio, that Monday evening slot, that's Vito and Al's show. They're not giving that up for anything, I don't think. So I heard votes on Monday. If I see anything in the contrary, I was thinking about doing it on Thursdays, but somebody else has a show on Thursday, and we don't want to interrupt his show at all. That's for sure. So if you're, and also let me just plug Paul's show. Paul does a great show. He is going through the Reliance of the Traveler. We're going through the Sharia, line by line, page by page, paragraph by paragraph, item by item. And it is, I mean, I feel like I'm in purgatory. Not that I would know that it was right, that I believe in purgatory or anything, but that's what it feels like. You're doing penance, trying to read through this and understand all of the complexities that go along with it, and how basic. What was the thing this week? I'm sorry, Pig.
Oh, that was funny because there's a piece that we read that basically negated everything we already talked about.
Yeah, let me read this here. Let me see here. This is Jay, and this deals with the Hajj, going on Hajj, and it tells you what you got to do on your Hajj. This is where you take stones and you throw them at a stone, and then you get more stones to throw at the stone, and then everybody needs to collect these stones so you get more stones to throw it at the stone. You guys get but it's not pagan. It has nothing to do with rock worship or stone worshiping or anything like that. But in the next section where it talks about, and here's the title of it: visiting the tomb of the prophet. Allah bless him and give him peace. Okay, now there's a process. Now forget the fact that it says in the Hadith that the Christians and the Jews are to be cursed for doing what? Well, for venerating and building what was it? What? Building churches over the graves of
churches over the dead and things like that.
Right, yeah. Okay, so forget that little fact that they're doing it too. But then they have to codify it. They have to put this into law on how to do it when you go see Muhammad's dead. When you go see Muhammad. But here's something that really just threw me. If you think, and what was the circumambulate? Circumambulation going around the Kaaba. I get that. But this was the circumventing Christ is what Muhammad's doing. Here's what it says. When you go there, when you visit the prophet's tomb, it's recommended that you pray 2 rakas to greet his mosque, approach him, and then then you greet the prophet and bless him in a normal voice, saying, here's what you say: "Peace be upon you, O messenger of Allah. Peace be upon you, O prophet of Allah. Peace be upon you, O chosen one of Allah. Peace be upon you, best of Allah's creations." Best of Allah's creation? Really? Oh, it gets
He's
better.
dead. I'm sorry, he's dead. He's not alive. What are you talking to?
It gets better.
They'd be rocking the Kaaba, man. But,
Okay.
you hear
Peace.
that? We did have 1,000 people died.
Oh, wait, Eric, you got us. What kind of voice are you supposed to say this in?
You got to do a normal voice. Peace upon you, O prophet. No, it says they're going to pray 2 rakas and greet, and then approach the noble in direction of prayer, and then greet the prophet and bless him in a normal voice. So you can't say, "Peace be unto you, O prophet. Peace be unto you." You can't be a Baptist minister.
I would choose the cow.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't dare say that in the because there'd be no peace. Peace, O best of Allah's creation. Peace be upon you, O beloved of Allah. And then you supplicate, after which one supplicates Allah for whatever one wishes. Then one steps a half meter to the left. But here's what got me. Then it is recommended to return to one's original place and do much of supplicating Allah's turning to Allah through the prophet. This is the worst English. Through prophet. Concerning one's aims and goals, since, listen to this, this is the part. Since he is the greatest intermediary in intercession and other things. Did you guys catch that? Muhammad is the greatest intermediary in intercession and other things. Does that sound familiar? If that's not Antichrist, I really don't know what is. Point out the original point is that we discuss these things and go through these things in detail on Paul's show. So you should be over at Paul's show at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, all right. Well, welcome everybody. Now that we're 15 minutes into the show, I guess we should get started on what the topic is today. As I mentioned, before we get going, I got one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay, there was a movie that was posted on YouTube this week. Well, I don't know if it was this week. It might have been out longer, but it's called Screams Before Silence. Screams Before Silence. And what this it's a documentary is basically what it is. But they interview Jewish women who were released from the Hamas hold dungeons in Gaza and how they were treated and what was done to them. And folks, I'll tell you what, I really don't know what to say about it, because when you think of that kind of evil being perpetrated on another human being because of the level of hatred that you have in your heart for another human being, simply because I think majority of us do not have a problem saying that I despise Islam. And it's not because of the Muslims. That's not it. It's because what it leads them away from. Muslims are led away from the true Jesus Christ of the Gospels. Every excuse under the sun is made to justify this. Well, you guys, the Gospels have been corrupted. You don't have the real injil. Every excuse under the sun is created to justify what is taught in the Quran. And that type of lie, where you lie to somebody to get them away from the true Jesus Christ, the Jesus Christ that saves us from our sins, I absolutely despise. And the reason why is because it condemns somebody's soul to an eternity in hell. And as a Christian, you never want to see that happening. This week, when we saw all of those people in Mecca, what was the death toll? Did anybody know what the total was?
It's over 1,088 as of Thursday. Now they're saying, well, the death toll is down to 500s. So they're not telling the true death toll as normal, as every year they don't report it. So we're talking probably closer to 1,500 is what I'm figuring, because it almost sounds like they've added another 500 and these are individual countries that are reporting it. This is not coming from the Saudi ministry.
Yeah, and you're to think that these guys, these people, believe that they're going on some type of religious pilgrimage, some religious obligation. They're fulfilling this religious at the height of their religious obligation, and they're dying there because of it was extreme heat. Is what I understand. I mean, if you get out in 125, folks, if you've never been in 125 degree heat, you don't want to be in 120. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to be there. And if you don't have the ability to get cool, get out of the sun, or to drink enough water, I mean, you would not believe how fast your body goes through water when it's that hot. You have to be constantly drinking, and then unfortunately, that many people. So when we think about, your heart goes out to these people, and not only the people that died, but also the loved ones that were there with them, watching them go through this. And so when we start talking about the ideology behind all of this, number one, it leads you away from the true Jesus Christ, but it also inspires the heart, this hatred. If you guys remember that last video clip we played last week where that guy was I think he was at Speaker's Corner, and he's shouting at a Christian missionary there that I hate you for the sake of Allah. Do you guys remember that video clip that we played?
Yes, yeah.
I remember it. Okay. Who hates you for God? I hate you for the sake of God. Who does that?
That's what it's actually in the Quran, and it's in the Sharia.
Okay, and so you would think that you are charged by God to hate other people for His sake.
Yes.
No, folks.
And under the Islamic concept of God, yes. Under any other concept of God, the answer is no.
Right, and you would think that, what really angers me is that they will sit there and look at you with a straight face and say, "Look, we both come from the same Abrahamic covenant. It's the same God." No, it is not the same God that Jesus Christ preached. It is
right. Just have a Times IDF buried in Rafa 9. If you want to come up and prove to us Islam has the true version of Jesus, please, you're welcome.
I'm trying to think I see that, Darcy. I see what you're saying here. Yeah, we have the true version of Jesus. Look, you don't even have this name right. We have the true version of Jesus. Yeah, no, you don't. I mean, you don't have it. I don't mean to laugh. I don't want to mock, but when you start talking about Isa versus Jesus, where does that name come from? It's not. I mean, this is a name, and here's where they think it comes from. They think it's a spinoff of Esau, and the rabbis, while mocking Christ, the Jews at the time, while mocking Christ in the region, it would sound like Isa or something. That's the best explanation for that. And you can say that you have the true version of Jesus. Yeah, Jesus was not born of Miriam, daughter of Imran. That would make Jesus the son or the nephew of Moses and Aaron. That's not the true Jesus. If that is the true Jesus, then you're going to have to provide some type of documentary evidence other than the Quran and your Hadith traditions demonstrating that. Okay, let's get into this week's topic of this week's show. All right, I titled it Vacation Quran School. And the reason why I did this is because this week I've spent the better part of the week helping set up things at the church for Vacation Bible School. And I was, and of course I was thinking, okay, well, what would that look like if you had mosques, masjids all across America or throughout the world, for that matter, having their own Vacation Quran School instead of Vacation VBS? It would be VQS, Vacation Bible School versus Vacation Quran School. Well, the thing about that is that we really do not have to imagine that. We have been shown this several times, and I've showed this a couple times here on the Cross and the Crescent discussion group, and we have discussed it. So let me show you what that would look like. Wait a second. Wait a second. I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one right here. I had it wrong. Here we go. All right, here we go. Let me know if you can hear it.
Pioneers of liberation.
Can you guys hear that? Okay, here we
Yes.
go. Alrighty then.
And the Sword of Jerusalem summer camps run by Hamas and Islamic Jihad. These videos posted by Memory, the Middle East Media Research Institute, show what the youth of Gaza are doing this summer.
We did not come here to enjoy ourselves or to play or anything like that. We came with our souls, our blood, our martyrs, and are wounded to sacrifice ourselves for Palestine and for our people.
Okay, that kid is 11 or 12 years old. Look at the vein in his neck sticking out. That usually indicates a lot of excitement, anger, hatred. Oh my goodness.
This promotional video urges students from primary school, high school, and college to participate. In the camp, target practice involves AK-47s, anti-tank weapons, and video simulations.
So that in the next phase, Allah willing, these boys will be able to confront the plundering enemy and disfigure its face in the next war.
In May, Hamas and Islamic Jihad called the 11-day war with Israel the Sword of Jerusalem. Their goal, preparing...
Okay, look how old these kids are. Now, let me see if I can make this full screen. There we go. Now, this kid right here, you could probably say maybe 15, 16 maybe. 13, 14, same. You get down here, 11, 12 maybe. Early teens, maybe even younger.
When was this video made? I'm curious.
I do not know.
You said the May 11th war, or May 11-day war. When was
Yeah,
that?
this would have been a couple of years ago.
Right. So that means all those kids are now the current Hamas fighters.
Yes, that's correct.
Say that
See what
one.
I'm saying?
If they're still alive,
Well, they're still alive. All those kids are the current Hamas fighters right now that Israel is killing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's another thing. I just want to point this out. Meanwhile, in America, we're teaching our children how to use proper pronouns and to be offended at just about everything, to throw temper tantrums and go out and protest and riot about everything. They're teaching their children this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, our great military, under our great illustrious Biden, is transing it completely, putting men in women's clothing, sending them full of hormones and estrogen, and yep, they're going to protect us and keep us safe.
We did there was a survey that I was discussing in school this year with the kids, asking them, what do they think the number one occupation out there that American kids aspire to go into now, and I was comparing it to the Chinese. They want to be electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, doctors, and neurosurgeons, all this fancy stuff. You ask the American kids, they want to be YouTube influencers, social media influencers. This is an occupation that they want. Oh, I did check. Hey, Brad, have you checked the Rumble account on how much money we've earned over there? Have you been able to see that?
I think I've got
No,
5
I
cents.
haven't. I know I got 50 cents on mine.
2 cents.
Oh,
2 cents.
man. Oh,
Hey.
we're raising here.
I tell you, we get a lot of views over there. So if this ever goes down, folks, you jump over to Rumble. That's what we'll be. Okay, let's go back to Vacation Cron School here and see what they're doing.
Bring the next generation for the next war.
We say to the enemy, these children picked up these weapons, and we train them how to use them, as well as how to take security measures, so that they will follow in the footsteps of their fathers and take up arms, Allah willing.
I chose to spend my vacation in the Pioneers of Liberation summer camp in order to continue the path of my father, the martyred commander Walid Shamala Abu Bilal, and in order to strengthen our determination and to liberate Jerusalem, Allah willing.
These young men and boys learn anti-Semitism at an early.
What is it? Okay, he said to liberate Jerusalem. That sounds a lot like from the river to the sea type rhetoric, don't you think? We're going to liberate Jerusalem from who, from what, and to what end? And this is another thing that kind of crossed my mind today. Because Rad, you sent me a couple. What was that? They were Twitter articles or something. What was that? What were those about?
Oh, I forgot. I sent you a lot of stuff.
It was about some type of attack in Russia.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
in Russia. They burned down a couple synagogues.
They attacked
They attacked an Orthodox church, killed the priests, and a bunch of terrorists. There's still an ongoing running battle with the police right now, or there was about a couple hours.
They attacked law enforcement. They attacked a church and a synagogue all at the same time.
Yeah, there's still an ongoing battle. They're still fighting the terrorists, and one of the terrorists is being reported as the mayor's son.
Oh, not a good political move.
So I was just looking at that.
Yeah, but here's what kind of got my mind. This is, I guess, how I think. When does this stop? I mean, when does this end? When does the constant attacks towards everything and everyone, not Islamic or Muslim, when does that stop?
When Dar al-Harb is eliminated.
Right. So when you talk about Dar Islam, the house of war, the house of peace, yeah, exactly. Until when people start saying, well, this war with Hamas is just isolated. No, it's not an isolated thing, folks. If Hamas is allowed to continue to exist and Hezbollah is not dealt with, Israel is going in perpetuity, has to sit there and defend itself against all of these existential threats and attacks that they receive daily. No civilization, no country should be required to endure that. And to criticize them for going out and trying to eliminate that threat is absolutely absurd. Because if Israel does not survive this, what is next? I can tell you what's next. They've already told us. Al-Andalus. What's Al-Andalus?
Spain.
What's next? What comes after Spain?
France.
Yeah. Do you think
Denmark?
So all of you dolts sitting in the European continent, do you think for a second that you're going to be safe from this? It's going to stop now that we got rid of the Jews. They're in Israel. Do you think that's going to stop? Are you really that naive, desperate to
I'll say it. Let's put it simple. Are you really that stupid? I'm sorry. You can be a useful idiot and believe whatever you want, but you don't have to be that stupid.
I don't know how you can be that stupid, to be honest with you. I really don't. Either okay. Afraid is what it is. I believe a lot of it deals with fear. They have this fear of, number one, angering, people, Muslims, to the point that they're going to attack. How well is that working out for you? But number two, they're afraid of offending people. Well, you can't say that Islam or Muslims or all Muslims are like that. Nobody on this show would ever say that all Muslims are violent. And if they do, I would challenge them that. Of course, not all Muslims are violent. Not all Muslims are terrorists. Not all Muslims want to follow the Sunnah of Muhammad. Most Muslims, I would say, have a higher sense of morality than what is described as Muhammad possessing in the Hadith literature and in the Quran and in the Sirah. They're not like that. But there is a huge element within that faith system that is expansionist. Oh, which reminds me, where'd it go? Where is it? Where is it? Somebody sent me something with Muhammad Hijab this week in it. You guys see this? Muhammad Hijab, was that?
I've seen some good fun being made of him by yeah.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, hold on. I don't normally like to plug my. Okay, shut up. I will get to you. But in this, what he's doing, and he's well, I'll let him speak for himself. Let's let him speak. How do I do this? Stop screen, present, share screen. There we go. Share. As a matter of fact, I think Rad sends me everything. I don't know where he gets this stuff, but it's definitely not. Okay, here's Muhammad Hijab. Oops, wrong clicker. Whoops, here we are right there.
Around you, or those hukumat around you, which are Jews or Christian, until they give the jizya. That's fine. That we already know Islam allows. And then the howness of that is in the hadith. The three options that they're given: either you give the jizya, or you do this, or you do that. We're not apologetic about that point. That is truth. Your religion has to have an expansionist element. So then, therefore, there is no situation or conceivability of peace being made between Muslims and non-Muslims. Islam is a war.
Okay, let's just pause there just for a second. So here you have one of the most popular. I'm not saying he's the most trusted, the most what would be the most respected Islamic voice out there. However, how many followers does this dolt have on YouTube? I mean, how many subscribers? I mean, this guy has literally.
He's probably got 10,000 at least.
Oh no! It's like up around 1 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the guy is, and he's. So many people follow and respect what this guy said.
David Wood made him. The debate that he had with David Wood made him. That debate he had with David Wood, nobody knew who Muhammad Hijab was. But then he had that debate. Yeah, he had that debate with David Wood, and that skyrocketed him. And they're the dollar for dollars crew. But they just give out these gems. They actually tell the truth. So I respect that. I respect a Muslim who tells me the truth that, yes, they want to kill us. They want to enslave us. They want to do all these things. I honestly respect that. I mean, it's better than the Ken Islam. You know, this, no, we don't want to do that. We're super nice. We defend your rights. We defend you. You know, we're not this. We're not, no. We don't follow the Quran and the Sunnah and the Hadith. No, we don't do that. That's all corrupt, you know. I don't respect that. I respect Muhammad Hijab. Now, true, I wouldn't trust him. There's a difference between respect and trust. But I definitely respect my enemies, especially when my enemy is telling me exactly what they're going to do, because that's just stupid. You know what I mean?
So when somebody this popular, and I get it, I understand exactly what you're saying. You respect him because he tells you the truth instead of lying to you. I think this is Steve here. 1.24 million. Is that subscribers? That's subscribers.
That's subscribers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so here you have somebody with a huge following, a huge popularity, huge influence. This guy's YouTube influencer, social media influencer.
He was with Pierce Morgan. He was with what's his face? Who's that psychologist guy?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy at Daily Wire, I can't think of his name though. But he's a
Jordan.
good guy. Yeah,
Jordan
Jordan
Peterson.
Peterson. I highly recommend Jordan Peterson. But
Murray. What's the guy's Murray?
Douglas Murray.
Douglas Murray. Yeah, he's been with it.
they owned him.
Very popular. You're absolutely right. So he gets a huge following. He gets a lot of face time, and this is what these guys are thinking. This is what they're saying. They're saying, folks, they say this stuff. They're saying it out loud now. 5-10 years ago, they would not have been saying this stuff out loud. Oh no, we don't want to, we don't want to expand Islam. We just want to have, we just want to worship, our own way, and it would be left alone. No, you don't. That's never been it. It's all throughout your history. It's never been that way, and we all know that the pattern that is established, where you get X percent in a country, you have like 2 to 3%. It's teaching peace and coexistence, and then when they get 5 to 8%, they start demanding special types of privileges and recognitions of holidays and halal this and halal that and halal you and halal me. And then the next thing you know, they start demanding political and special rights. And then from there, it just takes off and starts turning violent when they don't.
But look at the bright side though, because they have brought prayers back to the public schools.
Donald Trump is being castigated for that. Yeah, I mean.
Wait. Here's something funny. So you guys know that Louisiana passed a law that says that all schools have to display 10 Commandments. Well, I saw the woman that defended the law or whatever, who wrote the law. She was on CNN with some DNC hack or whatever, and they asked her, "Well, how would you feel if someone from the Jewish religion or the Islamic religion posted something, from their holy scriptures?" And the woman's like, "I can't speak to that. I'm only speaking to what we do." But here's the thing: both Jewish religion and Islamic religion, the 10 Commandments are there, right? Even but the Quran doesn't explicitly state the 10
Jewish
Commandments.
religion has them. That's true.
Well, right, but still, you would ask a Muslim, be like, "Well, no, that's in our religion, even though it doesn't state it." But you see what I'm saying, though? So it's like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? This is how stupid they are. It was just unbelievable how stupid they were. But I got a quick question. Times of IDF buried in Rafa. Are you that Muslim that I played with on Paul Williams' X Space that I invited to the show? Is that you? Let me know, and we'll send you a link. Or do you want to come up? Even if not, you want to come up? We can discuss some of your bizarre questions.
Invite, copy. Hold on, let me paste it over here and pin it. Pin message. There we go. There you go. There's the Streamliner. Did you guys see me? Did you guys see that? How
Yes.
I pinned?
Yes.
Huh?
Whoa.
Did
Finally,
you?
after 5 times of explaining it to you, you finally got it. Maybe
Yeah.
losing your hearing aids was a good thing. But here's another thing about Muhammad Hijab just recently. I don't know, about a month ago. He actually said he said the quiet part out loud. He said for all those living in London, okay, or in whatever big Muslim enclaves in the UK. There's London. Where's the town that Tommy Robinson is from? That's a big one. I can't think of it. But anyway, he actually wrote it, or he was he's not.
Is it Rotterdam? Rotterdam?
No. Well, either way, he said to all those that you're living there, we're not leaving. You're not going to deport us. If you don't like us, then you can leave. There are plenty of other places in London. You can go to Scotland. You can go. You know what I mean? So he's already saying the quiet part about it. We're here. We're queer Islam, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? No, seriously, he said it was true. You're not going to get rid of them. You're not going to deport them. They've already reached 90% population saturation in these areas they control. So they already have the city councils. They have the mayorship. You're not going to get rid of them. They've infiltrated. They've won. Congratulations. You just surrendered London. You just surrendered a couple of other.
Birmingham, Loughton, yeah.
Okay.
Dominic's listing them all.
Yeah, Luton. That's it. Oh. So yeah, guys, congratulations, London. You surrendered. Just like honestly, we've lost Minneapolis. It's gone.
This is where, and that's the point. This is where it doesn't stop. That's the point. This Islamic aggression does not stop until everyone is bending a knee 5 times a day to a rock in the middle of a desert. That's it. Does not stop until you do that. And the sooner this ideology is exposed for what it desires, and Muhammad Ajab just did a great job of describing what that desire is, what that end desire is, and that is to force the subjugation of expand Islam through the sword, not through like that textbook, that one seventh grade. There was a 7th grade textbook in my school district. The first year I was teaching school, where it talks about the great faith systems and how they expanded. It said that Islam expanded through the diffusion of trade. Through trade. That's how
that's what they teach today.
Right. And I asked the social studies teacher, the 7th grade social studies teacher that was teaching that. I said, "Is that true?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, of course it's true. So they learned that in college, and then they come to the classroom, and then it's there in the textbook, and they're teaching the same thing. So to them, that must be true, when it's anything but the truth. So these lies, I think, with shows like this, these lies are exposed for what they are. Go ahead, Rand.
Well, so that's another thing. So as you guys know, I'm completely anti-queer Marxist. I'm a queer Marxophobe, if you will. And that's the thing. What you just stated, no, queer Marxism is a thing.
Queer
We're
what?
teaching queer Marxism.
Queer Marxism.
Marxism. Yes, that is a real thing. That is being taught at the elite schools. That is being taught at the teachers' colleges. I can show you videos of them actually having seminars. Like, for instance, Michigan State University teachers seminar. Okay. Columbia University. Yeah. Okay. What do you call all those universities where they're having these protests? All this stuff is being taught to them. So they're teaching the teachers, okay, what you just said, that this is what they were taught, so this is true. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So the teachers that are teaching today, not you, of course, because you got it in earlier, but the teachers that are teaching today, okay, and you also have life experiences that they don't have, right? Okay, but they went straight in from high school to teachers college, and now, okay, they're being taught this crap, and they're teaching it, gender theory, queer Marxism, oppression versus the oppressed. Capitalism is evil, imperialism is evil. Pure Marxism has never been tried to. Okay, when you ask a Muslim about Sharia law and the implementation of Sharia, what do they all say when you bring out all the bad stuff of the Sharia law? What do they all say? Well, Sharia law has never been fully enforced or practiced anywhere. But once it is, it's going to be wonderful, right? Ask a Marxist, when has Marxists ever succeeded? And they will all tell you, well, Marxism has never really been tried. But when it does, it's going to be wonderful. You see what I'm saying? So there's this convergence of these queer Marxists, and that really is a thing, look it up, okay, which is Marxism gain of function, okay, all right, but these queer Marxists and then these Islamicists working together, because why? Globalization, capitalism, imperialism, okay.
Red Green Alliance.
What's that?
The Red Green Alliance.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Can I,
yeah, no.
Eric? Can I respond to this person who's saying that the U.S. is helping kill Christians? This person doesn't know that we have idiots in the House of the United States federal government that want to, I should say, in the executive branch of government, who are attempting to send $404 million in U.S. tax dollars to the aid of Gazans. And, we're trying to stop that because Republicans are, I'll say that Christians are trying to stop it, because who's killing the Christians? It is the Gazans. It is not, it is the Gazans and Hamas who's killing them. It is not the Jews. The Muslims are killing, they don't care who they are. They just, if they're not Muslim, they're killing them. And that's what it is. So deal with reality. Stop making stuff up.
Well, I don't know where the person's getting their
Well, they're probably watching Hollywood.
I don't. Well, yeah, right. They're getting their information. This idea.
Al Jazeera. You listen to Al Jazeera. You get what you want.
They're getting
Eric,
We're listening to Candace Owens.
our dear friend Stephanie's in the audience.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I saw she popped in there.
Hey, Stephanie.
That's a part of war, to spread propaganda to try to make their side better. I mean, that's part of war.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's a tactic.
Well, he's a good propagandist, but he's talking to people who actually can prove him wrong if he wants to. He's just making up stuff, and he doesn't apparently know enough facts. I mean, I can read right straight from the article. I'll you know what? I'll put that news link in for him. Maybe it's too much for him, but he apparently doesn't read the news, or he just makes up stuff, which it's up to him. I'd rather have facts.
There's a couple things about this information coming out of Gaza. The number of deaths, the type of people being killed. This information comes from UNRWA, the UN. Where does UNRWA?
Oh, well, that's enough right there not to trust.
Where does UNRWA get their information? Well, UNRWA gets their information from the Hamas hold. So Hamas is inventing these numbers, creating these numbers, and UNRWA is repeating them. And then the news agencies pick up on what UNRWA is saying, and then they repeat the same lies. A couple examples that will just that perfectly illustrate the dishonesty and the lies that are told by these people. That evening a few months ago, where there was a rocket that hit the parking lot of a hospital, and immediately Israel was blamed for it. And of course, Israel's shooting a lot of bombs over there. And so Israel's blamed for it. And the death toll was 500 Palestinians, Gazans are killed, women and children mostly, in this hospital. In the hospital. Who would bomb the hospital? And so the entire world starts, boycotting Israel. We're not going to do this. We're going to do this. Well, come to find out that it wasn't an Israeli rocket that did this. This was the Islamic Jihad or the Hamas holes themselves. A rocket fell short, didn't make it over the fence in to kill the Jews, and ended up exploding and killing their own people. But that did not come out until much, much later. So the lie was told immediately. Another great example. Here recently, the Israelis killed a Hamas commander and a few of his followers in an airstrike. Well, there were secondary explosions that occurred that ended up burning the structures down that dozens of Israelis that lived in, or not Israelis, Gazans lived in, killing I don't know how many a couple dozen more people. Well, that was a lie. That turns out to be a lie, that these fires occurred 3 blocks away. And they were secondary fires that were either, number one, purposely set, or number two, they were ancillary to the initial explosions that went off. And then they went off and set off secondary explosions. But why is Hamas, nobody asked this question, why is Hamas storing caches of explosives in the homes of of families? Nobody asked that question. No, the only question there is, them evil Jews. Screw you. You and your lies. No, and to think that people pick up on this and they regurgitate them in the media, and they come to places just like this venue, simple small venue, and regurgitate the same type of lies is for me. I'm very intolerant when you can go ahead and look it up for yourself, and to believe that these Hamas holes are going to feed accurate information to UNRWA, and UNRWA is actually going to fact check it. Another one, genocide in Gaza. People are starving, don't you know? That's a load of crap. People are not starving in Gaza. There's plenty of food there. The UN is not sending it out. That's the problem. UNRWA is not getting it out. They're not prioritizing it. Why? Because
Well, UNRWA gives food
may I
to Hamas, and Hamas then sells it to people. So that's the point. Whatever the UN is handing out or whatever is being brought in, Hamas steals it and then sells it.
And Paul, one quick thing.
Let me just say one thing.
That's free food. That's free food that's being sold.
Isak, give me a second.
Yes.
Let me just make a point here. Do you know what the most expensive item in Gaza is today? Did you guys hear this?
No.
Cigarettes. No, I'm serious. One cigarette is going for $25. One cigarette. So what people are doing is they're going into these food shipments that have been prepared for Gazans, the Gazans by the UN, tearing them apart, looking to see if they were able to smuggle cigarettes in, and then they're leaving the food there. That's what's happening. Issa, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry if I
may I comment, please? If you don't mind, please.
Who's talking?
If that's
I don't
okay.
know.
So
Who?
hi.
That's
Hi,
Christ
everyone.
is Lord, I believe.
Hi everyone. I'm from the. Hi. I've been listening to the stream and thank you for having me. Interesting conversation. I just wanted to just comment. As Christians, surely we should be calling out evil regardless of who it is. And I would argue that Likud, who is the ruling party in Israel, and Hamas are equally bad, given the evils they both have done and are still committing. So Likud, for instance, is supporting the settlers in Israel who are systematically stopping food from going into Gaza. And I agree with the point that Hamas are stopping food from going to the starving Gazans. But on the flip side, Likud in Israel and the settlers are also disrupting food deliveries and food transport into Rafah and into Gaza.
How so? How are they disrupting?
That's not.
Stop.
Well, that's.
I don't know what.
Go ahead.
I don't know what news you receive in the US, but
Where are you getting that
in
news
UK,
from? What's the
we've seen
source? Okay, I'm going to say
So
you're be cautious of the news source because, yeah.
No, I want to know
Sorry,
how
if you Google
disrupting it.
settlers, sorry, if I could just to say,
What did they
if you
say
were to
there?
Google just settlers, food, Gaza, you would see pictures of it. There's videos of it. I'm sorry, like it's you can't really dispute it. I think there's evil being done in the Israeli side as well.
Okay. I think you're using a keyword to find things that is causing you to find misinformation. You're using the word settlers.
Let me ask. Okay, let me make sure I get. He's saying Israeli settlers are disrupting.
There's no settlers in Hamas and Gaza.
No, I've got. Is that what did you say? Who's disrupting these food shipments? Who did you say? Who did you say? Christ is Lord. Who did you say?
Sorry. So the settler movement. So that movement of
secular
right wing Israeli settler.
Secular. Okay, so when Israel is reporting, that they are they are inspecting these shipments at a rate 3 times as fast as they are being picked up by UNRWA, they're lying about that? Is that what you're saying?
No. In actuality, as I already said, I think that there's 2 sides to it. I think that UNRWA and Hamas are definitely stopping food from getting through to Gazans who genuinely need it. I don't disagree with that. But I do think on the flip side, there is another side to this. And like I said, as Christians, regardless of your denomination, our allegiance should be to innocent people and people who are suffering, regardless of who they are. Because that's what Christ
You're
would
not
tell
going to
us
get
do.
any
That's what our
disagreement.
Lord
You're
would tell
not
us
going
to
to get
do.
any disagreement from people. I don't think you would get any disagreement.
Can I ask a question here?
Let me just finish this comment, Paul, and then I'll let you go. You're not going to get a disagreement from anybody on this show, and I would hope that you wouldn't get any disagreement that anybody would want to see innocent women and children suffer unnecessarily for whatever reason. that any country that would impose upon them. But with that said,
Yep.
there are consequences to the decisions that you, your family, and those all around you make. And these consequences include when you attack your neighbor and your neighbor attacks you back, you really don't have a lot of room to complain. When you made that conscious decision, you yourself, to encourage those attacks. When you look at the Palestinians, it's upward, I think it was 87% of them supported October 7th and also continue to support Hamas. All Hamas has to do to alleviate the suffering, and this is where the grown-ups in the room have to come in and make this statement. All Hamas has to do, the people in Gaza have to do, is number one, have Hamas release the hostages. Why don't they release the hostages? Why don't they just let these people that they stole from Israel and are torturing them, literally torturing them? What was the name of that? Screams Before Silence. Watch that YouTube video. And number two, those people who perpetrated those crimes, why don't they turn those people over to the Israelis? All of it stops when that happens. But they won't. And here's why they won't. They won't
Please.
Because their hatred is greater than their suffering.
Let me respond to that.
Their hatred, their Islamically inspired hatred, is greater than their suffering. And I get your heart. I honestly do, and I agree with it 100%. We hate to see people suffering, but when those people's hatred towards another is greater than their suffering, these are the things that happen. Paul, go ahead.
Let me respond. Let me respond.
So,
yeah, let me respond, brother. Sorry, Paul,
right,
you
go
go
ahead.
first, please.
Go ahead, respond. Go ahead.
Go on, Paul, you go first, mate. I'll go after you. Thank you.
Are there innocent Gazans is my question. When Israel went in and retrieved the 4 hostages, they found these hostages not in the homes of Hamas, but in the homes of Gazans, in the homes of Al Jazeera reporter. They found them in the house of a medical professional. Now, can you consider these people innocent when the Gazans, when you hear any of those who were returned alive, they were not being held necessarily by Hamas. A good majority of those who were able to speak and bear witness, they were talking about the Gazans keeping them. They were not talking necessarily about the Palestinians keeping them. So that's an important fact to keep in mind. Now, are these people innocent who held them? Are these people innocent who voted in Hamas and don't? I mean, again, none of them are. It's exactly as Eric is saying. If you really want to consider yourself innocent, you have to do something. You have to bind together and get these guys, you got to get them out. But if you won't do that, that's on you. You're no longer innocent. I don't think there's such a thing as an innocent bystander. I think you're an innocent incriminator. That would be you. If you're standing by and watching someone get murdered, you're guilty.
Okay. Let me respond, gentlemen, if you don't mind, please. And thank you for giving me the chance to do so. So to go back to the earlier point about removing the leaders in place, who is Hamas, that's easier said than done. So Hamas were voted in, I think it was in 2008. There hasn't been an election in the region since then, for one. Secondly, they removed every element of political opposition as soon as they got in. So they literally systematically destroyed them and murdered them.
Who did this?
It's very easy to say to a people, you should remove. Let me finish, please. Sorry, you go on, please.
No, I was just asking. You're talking about Hamas. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's Hamas. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Should
All
have
right, I just
clarified. Yeah,
wanted
Hamas, that's correct. Yeah. No worries. No worries. And then what I would say in response to there not being any innocence there, I would argue otherwise. I think children, unfortunately, are very easily molded into whatever you want them to be. The majority of the people in that part of Palestine are children, and it's our Christian prerogative to make sure that we protect those innocent children, because not all of them are guilty. And if anything, I would argue that the situation will not be solved by excessive violence. So, and what I mean by that is, I agree. When Hamas went into those parts of Israel and took those innocent people and killed those kids and women and raped those women, that needed a response, of course. But the response has now become excessive, where the majority of those who are dying are children, and all you're doing is radicalizing those children to continue a perpetual state of war, which will never ever be solved.
So
And
you are a great
just to finish,
watcher of Hollywood, is what I'm understanding.
Please let me finish. Let me finish if you don't mind. So I'm assuming that everyone here would want that land to be shared by two states. That's what should really happen.
No.
And as Christians, we should probably be supporting that. And with that in mind, how are we going to head towards two states if there's a continuous destruction of the children of Palestine?
That's the problem. You don't. Because one side wants a peaceful a peaceful coexistence.
Let me finish. Let me finish, please, if you don't mind. Let me just finish, please, if you don't mind. So then to talk about Likud. So Likud are just as toxic as Hamas. They hate Christians. They encourage the right-wing elements within Israel to spit at Christians. There's been legislation that people within that part of the political establishment have tried to pass through their parliament to stop people talking, to evangelizing, to sharing the word of Jesus Christ. They've tried to make it illegal to read the Bible. I've heard. It's like they can't pass that because Israel is a democratic country, and thank God not everyone is a weirdo like these far right within Israel. However, there are a contingent of the Israeli government who are far right, who hate Arabs, who hate Christians, and hate everyone who isn't Israeli. They see themselves as the chosen people, which they were at one point, but the world and the message of our Lord has moved on since then, where the chosen people are those who are within the church, not an ethnic group. Jesus Christ would not want us to be killing each other over that piece of land. The only thing that we should be willing to die for is eternal life, not a piece of land in the Middle East.
Okay, can I respond?
Please.
Okay. Number one, you talked about children being molded into what they want them to be. These kids, and this was kind of the theme of today's show. They are already, prior to all this happening, they are already teaching their children to hate Jews, to want to kill Jews, saying that it is their land, not the Jews' land. It is their land, and that they are going to take not some of it back. They're going to take all of it back. They teach their kids before they can barely speak. I have a long laundry list of video clips that I can show where this is being widely taught in both, not only in Gaza, but also in the West Bank. The second thing, you said that the response has been excessive.
Agree.
Okay. When you are constantly attacked, how do you stop that? What do you do to stop that? Do you respond every now and then with surgical strikes and take out one guy here or one guy here? Or as we've seen, the severity, the absolute scope and size of what they did to the Israelis on October 7th, Israel's like, we have had enough. We're done playing your silly little games. Shooting rockets constantly into our country, terrorizing our people, forcing us to spend a fortune on this Iron Dome to protect ourselves from you and your evil ideology. No, I would say this was anything but excessive. The two-state solution, you cannot have a two-state solution where the goal of one of those states is the eradication of the other one. That can never happen. So when people start saying, "Oh, we want to do," we have Isa on here wants to, wants a two-state solution. Always talk about two-state solution. You can't start a two-state. You can't even talk about having a two-state solution. They were offered a two-state solution when
But
was there.
do you think Likud? Do you think
No, I don't think
Netanyahu
so.
wants that?
Here's why. I don't think it is possible. And here's why it's not possible.
Does Bibi want that? Does Bibi want a
What?
Bibi doesn't want a two-state solution. The Likud party doesn't.
I don't think anybody wants a two-state solution. No Israel, a very small minority, a very large majority of Israelis are against it, and here's why.
They used to be for it.
Or
10-7.
When you provide a complete autonomy, when you provide complete autonomy for these people, this is what they do. They build terror tunnels and import weapons to do nothing but kill you. There is no compromise with these. You cannot compromise with the other side who swore to kill you, and is not only they themselves hate you with such a visceral hate, they teach their children to hate you. And why do they do that? Because it is religiously inspired hatred. This hatred for these Jews does not come from a political ideology, does not come from this land for peace type crap. Hell, they were attacked in 1929. Look what the massacre in Haifa. It's because they're Jews, and you cannot have Jews living in this Islamic land. This, until they change their ideology and have some type of Islamic reformation, this is going to continue, and it will not stop. And then last,
if I get chime in, go ahead.
This last point, I don't need to make this last point because it was about a small minority within the Likud party, but that's like saying that the Ku Klux Klan.
Can you comment on Likud?
Wait. Okay, I'm going to comment on that. I'm going to comment on Likud. Issa was right. Issa was right. Likud and Bibi, they don't want the two-state solution no more. Okay, nobody wants a two-state solution anymore. That ship has sailed. That ship sailed on October 7th. It is gone. It is a pipe dream. It is a fantasy. They had it for over 60 years. No, 60 years they had a two-state solution. They could have accepted it at any point in time. They didn't. They refused. It's over. It's done. No more two-state solution until Hamas is destroyed.
Likud never wanted it. Likud never wanted it.
No, that is not true. They were for the two-state solution. Up until October 7th. Okay. Yeah, that's completely factually false. Okay, that they never wanted it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. It's gone. Either way, you're not getting it. That's the bottom line. Not getting it. It's gone. It's over with. Goodbye.
Go ahead. I want to hear your response. Go ahead.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, thank you, Eric. Thank you for the response. You know what? Lots of what you said, I don't disagree with. I think Islam needs a reformation. I think I'd go further and say the Arab states have done a lot to encourage and to mix up this fervor in the Middle East against the Jews and against the Israelis. The Jews have a right to a state. They have a right to exist. I completely agree. However, I do think that there is some ownership of blame again on the right wing of the Israeli establishment, and that's not all Israelis. Like I'm a Zionist in every regard, and that I believe that Israel should exist. I just don't believe that there should be a Israeli state which removes all Arabs and all removes a Palestinian state. I just think they need to coexist. Like what I go back to is scripture. I go back to the Bible and the way Jesus, his new covenant. I'm not talking about the old covenant. I'm talking about the new covenant and how he told us to behave. And I am pretty sure that Jesus wouldn't support either side based on the conduct of both sides. You know, we shouldn't be putting that much onus on a land which will change hands continuously as time goes. When we die, we will not take that land with us. We'll go to an eternal life with Jesus Christ, and we'll be judged on our conduct. And I think that Christians are making a faux pas by just supporting one side, just without any kind of condemnation at all. Like, there is lots of blame to be put on both sides. I'm sorry. You know, I completely understand and agree with lots of the points you've raised, but I just think it's just one-sided in the way you attribute blame.
Where should the Jews go then? I mean, because do you think for a second
No,
that
they should be there. They should be there.
okay, then why not just leave them alone?
I agree. I'm with you, but we, as a world, we should be trying to encourage peace. Trying to encourage peace. We should be working with the Middle Eastern countries, and the
Okay.
Saudis are
We
devils.
tried
Like, I'm just
doing
going
that
to throw
with
out
the
that they're
Abraham
devils.
Accords. The Abraham Accords were
True.
what the Abraham Accords did is they marginalized the Palestinian Authority and Hamas.
Stephanie, everything's religious.
Right. And then we had a comment here by our dear friend Stefania. Where did it go, Stephanie? Where did you say politics? What did you
Oh, this
say?
is getting funnier. She said the worst of creatures are who knows the truth and they reject it by pride and arrogance. So is Stephanie now claiming to be a Muslim is what I'm starting to wonder.
Oh, she does. Okay, submission to God, yes, but we don't hate. Well, then, okay, so I appreciate you coming to the show, but I think that you should spend your time, more of your time, trying to encourage your co-religionists to love thy neighbor instead of hate. I mean,
oh, it will never happen.
Speaker's Corner.
Hey,
I hate
Eric.
for the Allah. Okay, well, that's it. That's in the Quran now. Okay, go ahead, Steve.
I just want to say, you know, because Stephanie is either she's naive, meaning she's a nice Muslim who doesn't know Islam, or she knows what she's talking about. I just want to read a verse to her in the Quran. And from those who call themselves Christians, we took their covenant, but they abandoned a good part of the message. This is Allah of Islam, Muhammad's God. We planted among them enmity and hatred till the day of resurrection. According to Islam, Allah is the source of hatred. If you want hatred, who plants hate? Who has the seeds that he plants? And he makes, according to the Quran, Allah plants hate. He plants it. I mean, he's got like a reservoir of hatred up there, and he plants it there among the Christians. Your God is the creator of hatred, according to the Quran. And this is in the Quran. You can go read it yourself. You can read it in the Arabic. It's worse than the Arabic, okay? And it's Quran 5:14. Okay, we planted hatred. But then, of course, there, you know, just to show you how close Allah is to Satan, because in verse 591, it says Satan's plan is to plant hatred between you. So according to the Quran, Allah plants hatred and Satan plants hatred. It makes it sound like they're the same person. Look at Quran 5:14 and Quran 591. It looks like Allah and Satan, they both plant hatred, which makes them look like they're the same person. I don't know.
Well, I actually agree with that. And the reason why is because any entity that would prescribe crucifixion, the cruelest form of one human being imposing torture on another human being, has got to be demonic. And what verse is that? 9:30, or is it 5:32?
The crucifix is 5:33. It's Obama's favorite verse is the one right before, which is from the Talmud. You know,
Right.
If you kill one man, it says if you kill the whole world, which is not to the Muslims, it's to the Jews. And then after Obama and CNN's favorite verse, then go to the Islamic verse, which is to
5:33.
crucify, cut hands off.
Yeah, they prescribe not, and this is what you see the Pharaoh doing, is cutting off your hands and feet on opposite sides, and then turning around and also prescribing crucifixion.
Eric, could I just say one thing to Stephanie? Stephanie said, how can I bring a Muslim to a show where Allah is insulted? Stephanie, I'm reading to you what your Quran says. I'm not insulting you. I'm reading to you exactly the words of the Quran, which says that Allah says it. He says, we plant hatred among the Christians. And then a few verses later in the same surah, Surah Al-Ma'idah, Surah 5, it says Satan plants hatred. I mean, Allah and Satan are both planting hatred among people according to your Quran. I'm not insulting. I'm telling you what your Quran says.
The Quran, people, is the biggest source of Islamophobia there is. Allah is the biggest Islamophobe. That's the bottom line.
Can I read? Let's read 09.0 from Reliance the Traveler.
Go.
Jihad. Jihad means to war against non-Muslims, and it's etymologically derived from the word mujahada, signifying warfare to establish the religion. And it is the lesser jihad as for the greater jihad. The funny thing about the lesser jihad and the greater jihad, there is no sources for the quote greater jihad that's imagined. All right. It is spiritual. Okay, I'm just going to skip down after that because they left that out. Here's the verses. We have returned from the lesser jihad to the greater jihad. It's there, but there's no citation. It's made up. All right. The scriptural basis for jihad prior to scholarly consensus is such Quranic verses as fighting is prescribed for you. Quran 2:216. Slay them wherever you find them. Quran 4:89. Fight the idolaters utterly. Quran 9:36. And such hadiths as one related by Bukhari, a Muslim, that the Prophet said, I have been commanded to fight people until they testify there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is messenger of Allah, and perform the prayer and pay zakat. If they say it, they saved their blood and possession from me, except for the rights of Islam over them, and their final reckoning is with Allah. This goes on and on. How is this peaceful? And small clips that I believe is Connie. Yes, Islam is murder.
I was gonna just chime in there to double down on the response to Christ is Lord. And I get your heart, and I understand your heart. I mean, and I respect that. I honestly do. I don't think anybody, like I began with, nobody on this show wants to see people suffer. Suffering and death is the norm for humanity, and we live in a time where people, when we actually see people going through that, it hurts your heart because we can see it live daily on Twitter. You see it on Twitter all the time. You see it on, well, not necessarily on Facebook because they're a bunch of censorship Nazis, but on Twitter you can see what's happening to these people. And anybody that would wish that on another human being does not have the heart of Christ in them. On the other hand, though, this is the point that I hope that people can understand, is that there have to be grown-ups in the room. There have to, when we look at the history of this entire conflict, wars have consequences. When you attack your neighbor, and you lose, you have no right, no legitimate right to complain about the amount of destruction that is done to your country. Look what happened to Nazi Germany in World War II. The only way to stop the Nazis from continuing their conquest across Europe and their desire to continue those conquests was to destroy them completely. Destroy their ability to wage war and their desire to wage war. That was a political ideology. The problem with Gaza and the Palestinians, quote unquote, it's not a political ideology. This is a religious ideology. Islam encourages Muslims to hate Jews. It is all over, not only the Quran, but if you look in the Hadith literature and you look in the Sirah literature, it is all over there where they are commanded to fight and kill Jews. And when you have an ideology that fuels that hatred, the only way to to stop that hatred is to take away that ideology. So what are we going to do? Are we going to say, well, you can't be a Muslim anymore and live it? You can't do that. You can't deny somebody the ability to worship as they choose. But at the same time, when people use that same ideology to encourage and entice others to attack people based on their religious convictions, and then you trying to turn around and blame them for your own suffering, again, I want to have sympathy for those people. And I do have sympathy in a lot of cases for those people. But they can end this, not the Israelis. The Israelis have to destroy Hamas. Hamas has to be destroyed. If Hamas is not destroyed, this continues. The attacks will continue. There will be a pause, whether it's a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but the attacks will continue. And what that will also do is encourage those surrounding Israel to attack. If you look what those Hezbollah is doing in the north, that's the next one. They are not retreating back across that river as the UN has demanded. So what choice do the Israelis have? They have, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people cannot go back to their homes because of the threat of the not the Hamas, but the Hezbollah shooting rockets and destroying their towns. What is the common thread of it? It's the ideology. It is the religious ideology that motivates them to hate Jews. And until that is done, until you get rid of that, until they have the love of Christ in their heart, their hatred for the Jews is going to take precedence.
Do you mind if I say a quick thing? I'm sorry, I actually have to go pretty quickly. But
I David Wood go this week. Way to go, Isa.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Really interesting. You had some great points there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's always good to see all my friends. The thing that I feel too is I definitely promote peace, and I think everyone does. And I totally understand the issue. There's a lot. This is a very difficult issue, and I think people don't understand the complexity. The issue with this Hamas situation is if Israel says, "Hey, I'm not going after Hamas," it makes Israel look weak, and that allows the neighboring Arab nations to say, "Hey, we can go and attack Israel." That has to be understood. That's a part of this thing. I personally do promote peace and would like a two-state solution, but I understand the difficulty of even getting to that place. It's very, very hard to get to that place because you would need a secular Palestinian government. It can't be Hamas. Hamas cannot be the government. It's impossible, and I don't even think Fatah could be a legitimate government because we saw what happened with Yasser Arafat, where Yasser Arafat basically was like, I'm going to these accords, the Oslo Accords, and in the next breath, Fatah is doing terrorist attacks. So we have to look at the nuanced situation here. It is very difficult and it is very hard. But I think, God willing, the whole most important thing is to have peace and to pray for peace. So I agree with Christ as Lord on that. I just think we have to understand this is a very complex, nuanced situation. That's it. That's what I wanted to share.
Well, when we start talking, I don't think anybody is against peace in that region. But when you start looking at how long this process has gone on and how many people have come before them trying to reach some type of agreement, and you think that you're a wizard of smart and you can figure out this more than what they can, and the only reason why you're not getting peace is because of what did he say? Is because of the Likud party. Well, I mean, who was it 20 years ago? I mean, it was another. I mean, it's the same. You can blame whoever you want to for not achieving peace, but when one side wants to completely destroy the other side because of their hatred,
Eric, that wasn't what I said, brother.
Hatred, then you can't have peace. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that wasn't what I said, brother. I didn't just blame Likud. That's
okay.
That was a misrepresentation. Yeah,
I was just picking one part of it. Sorry about that. Go ahead. So go ahead and give a more in-depth explanation then, and we're going to have to go after you get done.
No. Do you know what? I'm going to leave in a second, but in all honesty, I don't disagree. I think Issa's right. This is very, very nuanced, and it's not as simple as that. I just think there is more complexity than I think we all give credit to. In regards to it being as simple as wipe out all Palestinians, and any Palestinian child who is living there right now is probably also guilty. Like, that's just archaic, you know. And I don't think we should be. Yeah, I don't think we should approach things like that. But again,
why did the
I agree.
Palestinians
I think
go back to their land? Why do they get to live in this perpetual refugee status when no other people group in the history of the world to this date shares the same sort of status, refugee status? As
You know what reasons why, Eric? It's because the UN recognizes that these people did not live in Palestine, that they came from other countries, and they recognize that no Muslim country will let them come back.
I wonder why. Yeah, and that was kind of like a rhetorical question, but yeah, you're right. It's the, you know, there's absolutely no reason why these people are still considered refugees. Wars have consequences, and when you choose the wrong side and your side loses, move on. Wasn't there an organization called MoveOn.org? Maybe we ought to start one for the Palestinians. Move on. Move to Egypt. Move to Syria. Move to Lebanon. Move to Jordan. Oh, they tried that. Move to Jordan. Well, they tried that. Move to. They tried that. Now, doggone it. There's got to be someplace. I mean, didn't they want to move the Jews to Madagascar? Steve, we can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted, Steve.
Yeah, I'm just saying, nobody wants us except Jesus. Jesus wants us, you guys. So come to Jesus, man, because Egypt hates us, Jordan hates us, Saudi Arabia hates us, Iraq hates us, Iran hates us, Lebanon hates us, Syria hates us. They all hate us. They love to cry for us on TV. So,
well, you know where they can go. They should maybe think about going to Turkey. I heard earlier.
They hate us too. They hate us too.
Okay. All right, guys. I got to get going.
God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're here at 4 p.m. every Sunday if you want to come back. Okay. I got to get running. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. I got to cut it short. We will be back here next Sunday at 4 p.m. Again, we're looking for those who did not hear at the beginning of the show. We're looking at moving the show to Mondays. Steve, do you know of anybody that does a regular broadcast? Isa, do you guys know if anybody does a regular broadcast on Mondays during this time that we would be stepping on them or they would be stepping on us?
You know what? It's like there's so many out there, you know, that you ought to just, I kind of, you know, because at the beginning when I first started doing it, I was like, dude, I didn't want to do this time because it's, and you know what? So many are doing
do your own thing
all over the place.
Yeah.
You should just do what you want to do there. And that's my feeling about it.
That's good advice. It's good advice.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. God bless.
All right, Darcy.
Hey, can I just say one thing? The other day I was with a guy named I Am Warner, and I've got a video of it. And he confronted me. He threatened to knock me out in front of my wife. And
were you wearing your body cam?
What was that?
Were you wearing your body cam?
No, but it's on video. Everything's on video. Okay, and I've got it all on video. He got it on. He put it on his channel, and it's got almost 100,000 views. But one thing that he says, the guy's name is I Am the Warner, which I'm not sure if that's really allowed because Muhammad is the Warner, and for him to call himself the Warner, I'm not sure if that's even permitted. But anyway. One thing he says in this, I was standing there with him and he had a bunch of helpers. I said, you know, isn't it great to be in a Christian country? And then his assistant says, this isn't a Christian country. And then he says, yeah, it's a satanic country and it's going to be a Muslim country. Now he clipped it and put it on TikTok. But when he put on TikTok, he took off the part where he says it's going to be a Muslim country. So because he clipped that part off, I think, you know what? Maybe it's important that he said that. So anyways.
Well, maybe you ought to put it on your channel.
Yes, I did. So.
Okay, there you go.
Well, why would you want to say America's a satanic country? It's a country that's given so much human rights. Like, yes, it has its issues, but I'm like, compared to many other countries, there's so many people run to the United States,
including him,
which I think is insane. Why are you insulting the United States? You get some. I don't get this when immigrants attack the United States, they attack United Kingdom, they attack Australia. You came here to get resources and refuge, so I don't understand it.
All right, I got to fly, folks. We will see you next Sunday. We'll see you Thursday, Paul. We'll see you next Sunday. For those of you who come back to the show on the Cross the Crescent discussion group. God bless.
Yeah.
God bless you guys.
I got to end the stream.